What's up, Doc? That was a mix of, like, multiple people. It must have been. What is up, everyone, for all things Halloween? You know what time it is. It is late. Wow, it's pretty late. And, this will not be an entirely long live stream, as you probably realized. I actually don't even know where my phone went at this point in time. But this will not be too long of a live stream. But thank you for watching. Hope you're having a blessed and spooky day today. Of course, you all know me. My name is Steve. And, welcome to a new Haunt Former live stream. The streams where we scream, maybe a little bit. And I will definitely try to subscribe to anyone who asks. Just please send me an email with a link to your channel so I can subscribe to it. If you could, please. I'd really appreciate it because it makes it really hard to subscribe on here. So if you could, please. So thank you all for watching, by the way. Wow, 28 people watching. That's crazy. What are you all doing up? Well, I guess it's summer, so there's not really too much of a rush. So, whoops. I dropped my little roach friend. By the way, you may have noticed this little roach was in my previous video. Go watch and try to find him. But regardless, if you were watching Spirit's sneak peeks, you very well know that the Cryo Chamber Corpse was Spirit's newest release. I'm very excited. I think we're getting some aliens this year, and I'm very pleased with that. I hope we can see even more aliens, maybe some standalone aliens. We'll have to wait and see what Spirit unearths. Also, just recently, I've almost picked my theme for my Haunted House 2018. I know it's a ways away, and I'm not really going to talk about it too much, but let's just say I've had some brainstorming opportunities recently, and I think we've narrowed down some pretty cool things you guys are going to love. We're bringing some old popular things back, and you're really going to like it. As far as Abandon is concerned, which, yes, I've realized doesn't have many builds at all. In fact, I think it only has one. I will be trying to make an update video in the near future, so expect that soon. I apologize for the delay on those. But expect some update videos for Abandon. I'm working currently on 3, count them 3, smaller scale fake animatronics. What I mean by fake animatronics is they're meant to look like animatronics, like broken down ride animatronics. I've got a panda bear, a pig, and a rabbit. Actually, the rabbit head is right here. The other two look much better, so this is not the final product. You'll have to wait and see how it turns out, so please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. Also, make sure to follow me on my social media. I have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google+. I got a lot of different ways you can contact me. I mostly use Instagram and Facebook, though it kind of sends to Twitter and Facebook too. So make sure to check those out. I already have posted some photos of those props, and I'm going to add lights, LEDs, into their sockets, at least maybe in one of them. And I'm also, in the near future, going to start working on a brand new prop, kind of for the electrified corpse over here. I was a little bit inspired. Actually, I had the idea a little bit before it actually came out. The new prop, the high voltage zombie, while I don't think I'll be picking him up, I am really interested in making a high voltage fence. So I've purchased some kind of what looks not like chain link fence really, but it's going to work. I'm going to get some fake metal paint and spray it on there and add some rust to it. And using PVC, I think we're going to get a pretty good result. And we'll put a high voltage sign on there. I think I have one in storage. And it is going to turn out pretty cool, you guys. So that is also in the near future for the Abandoned builds. It's not chicken wire, no, it's soft, so if you brush against it, it's not going to cut you, and sometimes those certain wires, when you brush against it in a haunted house, can cut people, and that's not what I want to do. But you can use those, but be cautious. I also have a new build, it's behind me, I'm not going to show you it, Well, I haven't started it yet, but it's a pretty cool one. It was inspired by a fellow haunter on Instagram. I don't know if you're watching this, bud. I'll keep it kind of on the down low, but he posted a photo on Instagram of a prop that he made, and I was so inspired by that prop that I'm going to recreate it, basically. I'm going to try to link him in the video as well, but he kind of sent me how to do it. It's pretty easy. You guys will think it's really weird, but it's a very different prop. Very different. So if you like weird, you will definitely like it. So stay tuned for that. It's kind of behind me. I still have to get one more thing to kind of bring it together, and I got to get some paint for it, and we'll be good to go. It's going to be pretty cool. So I'll give you one code word. The code word is chicken. That's all I'm going to say. But be excited for this upcoming, I'll call it Codename Chicken prop in the near future. Also, I'm getting my Limax Spooky Town out either tomorrow or in the next few days. And I'm maybe, if I don't know how interested you all are in this, maybe going to do a how-to video about like how to set up a Spooky Town display. So I don't know, does that interest anyone out in the audience? So, I don't know, does that sound cool? Does that sound cool? That sounds like a good idea. Cool. It goes up right where the mummy is. You see him up there. He's chilling out. He's a really cool prop, by the way. I'd say the two coolest things I've gotten this year, maybe, are the electrified corpse and the mummy. And I'm getting more... Excuse me. I'm getting some more orders in the mail soon, so get ready for more reviews of props, masks, all different kinds of stuff. You will not be disappointed in the videos that I'm going to try to post soon. Also, if you haven't, please give the Uncanny Forums some love and go check out the newest Uncanny Forum. I believe it's the 5th episode of the Uncanny Forums. It's the longest one. It's almost 12 minutes long, so I hope you guys are ready to fasten your seatbelts and watch a long one. But it is quite creepy. It is about true home invasion stories, which actually freak me out too. And it's not to make you freaked out or anything. I know I have faith in God to protect me, whether I'm at home or out, but it is definitely something to think about, being safe in your own home. So I do have that. I also have a new Haunt Stories, which is not currently up yet. It is on my iPad, and I will release that one maybe tomorrow. We'll see how the scheduling goes for that, but that will be out soon. Hope you guys will enjoy that one. I'm also going to start making some very specific haunt stories, so if you have any suggestions, like alien stories or werewolf stories. I know someone requested werewolf stories, so I'm going to try to do that, maybe vampire. We'll see what we can do. I also went to Cracker Barrel recently, as you maybe have seen, and I picked up a book. Now, these aren't the moving books, but this is a book I got from Cracker Barrel called Classic Ghost Stories. Now, I was expecting more of, like, truthful ghost stories or just, like, legends. This is more of literature. It's definitely for more of literature people. It's only $10. Some of the... Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I'm yawning. Going crazy with the yawning. Some of the stories in here include Frankenstein, Dracula, I was going to say Phantom of the Opera, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, The Telltale Heart. So it's more of literature than it's actually legends. I have a separate magazine where it talks about legends, and that's what I was maybe expecting, but still interesting. They have some about ghosts, bottomless grave. Definitely interesting to look into. I don't know if I'll do a review of this book ever, but if you like reading about horror, this book is $9.95 at Cracker Barrel, and it is a pretty big book. It'll keep you entertained up until Halloween, I would say. Also, we're getting closer to figuring out what Spirit is actually doing this year. We've gotten a very odd mix match of props, so figuring out themes is going to be pretty tough. We've gotten an alien. We've gotten a cryo chamber corpse. Well, those fit together. That makes sense. But then we have the Limb Ripper returning, and then a spell book, and then a zombie. Weird. But like I said, I still have my oomph into the idea of a cabin in the woods. I've been saying it. I think there's going to be a forest or woods of some sort, you know, because aliens have, like, crop circles and stuff. There might be, like, a barn with maybe the alien that rises up, the toe tagged, maybe laying on the ground, along with the cryochamber corpse. And we can maybe see the werewolves out there and maybe the zombies, too. But we've also gotten a clown, too. So, definitely, I'm sure it will be quite an interesting year. And I'm very thankful for Spirit Halloween, not just doing a bunch of zombies again. I'm glad last year they actually strayed from that. They gave us a werewolf. They gave us some scarecrows last year. And they gave us some ghosts, like with the shovel tombstone. And I hope we can get more variations of props rather than corpses, zombies, and undead bodies, which are all basically the same thing. Not that I have a problem against zombies, because I love zombies. And speaking of which, it is very quite sad, and I do pray for this person and their family, although he has passed away. And if you know horror, or if you follow horror or zombies, then you probably know who I'm about to talk about, and that is George A. Romero passed away today at the age of 77, which is really quite sad, and I just pray that his family will be okay in this time of sadness. If you don't know who George Romero is basically the father of the modern zombie. Zombies have been around for a while, the idea of, you know, having a dead person to come back as a monster, but George Romero was the director of Night of the Living Dead, which really started the virus idea with zombies, and that they would be like kind of walking slow, and that they would be, of course, undead, and that the government would try to stop them, and people would board up their houses, and you could kill them with a blow to the head. A lot of what we think of when we think of a zombie has come from George Romero, and sadly he did pass away today. Like we lost Wes Craven a few years ago, it's sad to see so many iconic Halloween and horror legends starting to pass. So, with that being said, it's sad, and I do hope that in the next year we can see an increase in zombie-related films in kind of like a dedication to George Romero, and in the same time, I hope we can get ones that honor his work of zombie movies the way they should be. Because we actually haven't gotten that many zombie movies recently, and when we do, they're just not up to par as what they once were back in the 50s. So, I'm sorry, you guys. I really am. I keep yawning. Sorry. Yeah, that was our little moment of silence. Thank you. I'm glad you think my videos are cool. I appreciate it. Sorry, I'm making people yawn. Yeah, it was sad that he's a horror legend. And really, no matter who he is, but also for us, because he was a horror legend. And he will definitely be missed by his fans, and I'm sure his family as well, which is a pretty obvious thing to say. But that being said, I also want to say I want a revival of more monsters. And a revival of good horror and good scares. A new movie is coming out next month. You probably have heard of it. It's called Annabelle Creation. I'll be honest, I thought the original Annabelle was one of the scariest movies I've seen. It actually made me run out of the theater. I'm being quite honest with you. And after I ran out of there, I'm like, I'm going into a different movie. So I walked into The Box Trolls, I think was playing, and that was like so boring that I left and went back to Annabelle, but I stood in the back the whole time. And it was a freaky movie, I'll admit. But the more I watch a lot of modern horror movies, the more I realize that the way they scare you is more based on a loud bang noise and a jump scare, rather than it is about actually getting down to being scary. It's not just... anyone could get scared by a boo, by a jump, or by a loud or whatever. It's natural that human beings flinch. Right, they are cheap. You're right, Jennifer. They're very cheap scares. And if that's the there's certain things that could fit. Like when they make the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, that works. That's what Five Nights at Freddy's is. It's about jump scares. It's about the popping up in your face sort of thing. But so many movies nowadays don't even try to be scary and focus on popping up jump scares. So I hope we can see a revival of good horror. Look at The Shining. Look at Night of the Living Dead. Look at The Exorcist. There are like no jump scares in any of those films, yet they're all so iconic, classic, and scary because they don't just scare you with bang noises, they actually get inside your head and make you think, and that makes you creeped out. A good example of a movie that I think is pretty creepy is The Purge, and that's a modern horror movie. And though there are jump scares, they are very few and far between, and the movie actually makes you think about scary circumstances. So, that's just one example of many, but I hope we can see more movies that are different. One movie, of course, that I have in mind is the new It, which I hope will be a really good film. I've heard good things about it. I also am really excited for this movie called Happy Death Day. You probably saw a trailer for it. It's about, it's like Groundhog's Day, but with a killer. And so, that is going to be an interesting movie. It comes out in October. I'm also excited for that one. So that should be pretty cool. I agree, Dylan. It should be cool. There's a lot of different horror movies coming out, so I'm very excited. I'm also excited for the new Cloverfield, of course, which is going to be really cool. Top 5 favorite scary movies that scares you. Okay, so do you mean top 5 horror movies, or you mean top 5 movies that scare me? Because those are two separate things, because a movie might scare me, but it's not necessarily my favorite, and a movie that might be my favorite horror movie isn't necessarily one that scares me an awful lot, so it's kind of hard to say. So which one are you talking more about? We're gonna party like it's your birthday. Cult of Chucky will be cool, too. Yeah, The Exorcist, I'd say, is if you're going by favorites and scary, I'd say The Exorcist is probably one of the best movies of all time. It's one of my favorites. That scared me. Well, I don't know if you've heard of this movie. Please let me know if you have. And I think a prop based off of this movie would be so cool. I recently just watched a movie called Them, and it was actually really scary. It was actually very creepy, and it left me very unsettled and kind of freaked out. And it's an old movie, too. It's from the 50s, but it just goes to show that movies that are good can really age well and still be scary to this day. If you haven't heard of... yeah, and that was the Jackson 5. I have seen Nerve. It was pretty cool. So if you haven't seen the movie Them, basically it's about the aftermath of a nuclear bomb testing in Arizona, which leaves the desert ants to get hit with radiation, which turns them into giant ant monsters, and they start eating people. And it is creepy. So I recommend it, you guys, and it's not boring. Some old movies, I admit, can get a little boring, but this one really keeps you on the edge of your seat for the most part, wondering what's going on. So I really recommend it. That is a scary one. One of the scariest movies also to me is The Thing. It just freaks me out. And I did recently see American Werewolf in London, and I thought that was a very creepy movie too. The way he turned into the werewolf, of course, is so awesome. And I also love that the wolf is like a full-on wolf, and it just kind of runs around and attacks. It's just like an animal, which is very creepy. And though that is such a cool movie, and don't get me wrong, it's a very awesome werewolf movie, it is not my favorite werewolf movie. The Wolfman is my favorite werewolf movie, the 1941 Wolfman with Lon Chaney Jr. will always have a special place because it is so memorable. If you ever have time, and if you're a big monster fan like I am, sit down and watch all of the monster mashup movies they did back in the 40s. After the Wolfman, they did Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, they did House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, and they did Abbott and Costello Meet the Monsters. If you haven't seen those movies, those are awesome movies to watch. They get me into the Halloween spirit. They're really, really cool. And though they're not the best horror movies, they're really entertaining. So definitely check them out if you haven't. And if you're a big fan of monsters like Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, they're really cool. Horror games, other than Five Nights at Freddy's. I haven't played many, but I'm hoping I could play more. I want to play the new Friday the 13th game. Sounds interesting. Oh, cool. That should be a cool pick. Little Skelly Bones. What's up, Spirit of Halloween? What's the next song gonna be? Have I seen Plan 9 for Outer Space? I haven't, but I would like to. I know they're usually terrible, but some of those movies are, like, so interesting you can't help but watch. There's a great example of, look this guy up. He's actually a really cool guy. Like, whether you like his movies or not, Jared and I have, like, wrote him before, and he's a really cool guy. His name is David The Rock Nelson, or David Rock Nelson. You can find him on Facebook. He'll add you as a friend. He's a really cool guy, and he is a very low budget, like very low budget, monster movie maker. He's stationed out in Chicago, and he makes these monster movies by himself, basically. He dresses up as monsters and plays the other people in the movies. They are low budget, sort of like Plan 9 from Outer Space, and he's a big fan of Ed Wood. But you can't help but enjoy him and his passion for movies, and he loves what he does. And he says, you know, he knows his movies aren't the best, but he does it because that's what he loves. And for that reason, I think he's an awesome guy. They should make a Smile Dog movie, and in fact, I have a Smile Dog prop that I got the dog and I never made the prop yet, so I need to do that. American Horror Story 7? I haven't watched the other ones, so I don't know if I need to. And I haven't seen A Woman in Black. I'm sorry, you guys. I keep yawning. I'm gonna have to go probably in the next 7 minutes. So when this stream hits about 30 minutes, I'm gonna start heading out, so I apologize. Andy's in Cult of Chucky. I'm very excited. And yes, I've seen both Conjurings. They are both pretty good. I actually like the second one a lot. It's going pretty good. Thank you. Also, I thought this was pretty interesting to note. I've been, you know, on Facebook it tells you, like, little notifications. Supposedly, I've been friends with Ed Edmonds for 2 years on Facebook. And I didn't even know that much about him when I friended him. I just knew he was a cool Halloween guy. Now, after seeing Making Monsters, I'm glad I'm his friend. Which is an awesome show, by the way, if you haven't checked it out. How is your Peekaboo Penny? I haven't checked on Penny in a while, but last I checked, not so good. Not so good. I've seen Spider-Man Homecoming, and it was awesome. I thought it was pretty darn cool. I'm excited to see what he does in the MCU now. I'm sorry, thank you for asking. I was gonna ask all you, what is your favorite sneak peek so far? What is it? Come on, you guys. You can just put one-word answers. Or, like, if we know what you're talking about. And then I'll tell you mine. Limb Ripper, cool. The Clown, cool. Limb Ripper, Cryo Chamber, Evil Eye Book, Sitting Scare Clown, cool. So I'm seeing a lot of Limb Rippers and Clowns right now. Basement Doors, cool. Eye, nice. The new one, okay. Wow, lots of the Wolf and the Clown. So far, my favorite is actually the toe tagged. I think is my personal favorite. I also love the new one. Is very quite cool. I wish it was an alien though. We see so many zombies, like I said. If you wanted a zombie popping out of the box, you could do an incinerator. I think if it was a cryo chamber, it really should have been an alien. But that's just me. I'm still excited to see what Spirit's gonna bring to the table this year. I know we're not going to be disappointed, but definitely toe tagged so far would be my personal favorite. Jaws is a cool movie. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely pretty cool. Thank you, Lucy. I'm glad you enjoy the videos. I'll try to keep them coming as best I can. Toe tagged. Yeah. Team toe tagged. Yeah. It's just so cool, because I love the idea of, like, I don't know if I believe in aliens. I'm not really sure. I just love I don't believe in a lot of monsters, actually. I don't really believe in ghosts. I don't really believe in aliens too much. Maybe. I don't believe in werewolves and vampire and all that stuff, obviously. If you do, that's fine. But I just personally don't. Kind of for the reasons, like, sort of it falls into, like, the Bible and things. Like with ghosts and stuff, because we either go to heaven or hell when we die, and I don't think you'd actually be a ghost. But regardless, I love the lore of monsters. I love the stories. So, like, the whole crop circles and UFOs and abducting cows and people and making them into food or whatever, and aliens coming down with blaster guns, I just think it's so cool. I think it's really cool. So, I'm really excited to see what aliens we get, and I hope we get more, so I'm excited. It's hard to figure out the themes, you're right. What is your feeling on Israel? I love Israel. I really do. And I think we need to support them even more. Which is better, trick-or-treating or scaring kids? Obviously, scaring people is my preferred method of Halloween fun. Okay, this is an interesting story. This was before the haunt started. What happened was, there was this guy who used to dress up in a monster costume and scare people at the front door of his house in the neighborhood I do the haunt in. Well, one year, he, like, opened the door and these kids, like, threw stuff at him and, like, called him names. And I think he stopped, like, giving candy at all. He just kind of said it outside. So I think that's kind of rude. And you might not be up for a scare, but you have to remember it's Halloween. You can expect all treats. There's got to be some tricks in there, too. So, be respectful of the people who are scaring you. Boo! Hope you weren't wearing headphones. Yeah, isn't that rude? It's sad. And I don't know how old the guy was, but he was just trying to have a little fun, and then, like, these little kids were, like, messing with him. So I don't think that's cool. And that's happened a lot. Going around, there was this one guy in the neighborhood, and it looked like a scarecrow in his front lawn, you know? And my sister and I were, like, walking away from the house, and boom, he just jumped. The scarecrow jumped off the thing and, like, chased us. That was cool. That was a good one. And also, in the neighborhood, there's Dawn of the Dead. I try to see her every year, but I haven't been able to trick-or-treat much anymore, because I'm so focused on the haunt, which is fine for me. Because I love doing the haunt. And we get, which is really awesome for me, we get people that come back every year and say they've been waiting for it, and that's really special. It's also really special to let people in, and they're really excited for it, especially kids. We had this girl one year who came through in a wheelchair, and we had to help her, like, get in, but when she got in, she was able to be pushed around. And for me, that's, like, one of the ultimate reasons why I do it, is to give people a good time on Halloween and to have fun. Above anything else, even if it's not scary, if it entertains you and lets you have a great Halloween, that's what matters. What's with all the weird questions? UFO alien capsule? Is that a new prop? Or a new video or something, Cameron? Or on the website? It's on the website? Is it? What's the question? Sorry. You saw it in person? What? Could you... Well, because the live stream's ending in a second. Could you give me a call? I gotta find my phone. I don't know where it is. But I will end with this, you guys. With this dramatic Corpse Bride film score. Halloween. I will end with this, you guys. Stay spooky, stay awesome, and stay blessed. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Hope it's spooky. Get out there and scare someone. And also, love someone too. Because if, remember, like the Halloween Town people, it's their job, but they're not mean. We're supposed to love people. But we can also scare them. And give them a good time. So as I mentioned, I will be trying to do sneak peeks as soon as they come out. I will try to post as much as I can. I still have the haunt stories to upload. I'm going to try to do more abandoned videos. Thank you guys for being patient. Make sure to subscribe and check out my social media. And remember, as always, you know the drill. For all things Halloween, this is Hauntformer. Wooly bully.